الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فانساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم.
Sadaqallahul Azim, Jazakallah. Thank you so much, Abdul Rahman, for the wonderful recitation of the Holy Quran as well. And for everybody who's out there, Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qala Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam bil lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma ajirni minan nar. And for everybody who's tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into PTV while you're certainly watching our Ramazan transmission with the name of Ramazan Pakistan. Today happens to be the 22nd of Ramazan. There are only few days left, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well, that your connect with the Almighty is actually in such a position or in such a way that it brings you a lot of spiritual contentment. And not just that, that we are able to make sure that we persuade Allah Almighty in such a way and with such beautiful prayers that Allah forgives us all. Ameen. Summa Ameen. I happen to be Shahzad Hasan Khan, and I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Ms. Sadaf Ali Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Sadaf. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum Assalam, Shahzad, and Assalamu alaikum to everyone who's watching us out there. Well, let me take you back to 23rd March 1940, where Pakistan resolution was actually passed in Lahore. It was initially known as Lahore Resolution, but later on it was named as Pakistan Resolution, because that was supposedly the milestone of Pakistan's formation. And Pakistan and Ramzan, if we talk about them together, well, they go side by side, because we all know that Pakistan was made in Ramzanul Mubarak, and Pakistan and Ramzan has a connection also. If we talk about our religious perspective, this is the blessing of Allah Pak that actually opened the doors for us to worship openly, for us to being Muslims openly, for us to have minorities save their rights, talk about them, and talk about all the Muslim majority as well.
Exactly. So and Sadaf, in addition to this, I think, you know, for the kind of conversation that we are having, I'll actually have to stand up over here, because certainly feel that, that there needs to be more energy in it as well. Now, for everybody who's out there, I want you to focus on what I'm trying to say over here. Now, imagine for us to travel safely and soundly to our workplace is something which is really very important, that, okay, that we reach towards our work very safely. Not just that, I think in addition to this, for each and every one of you who's actually out there thinking or probably being at your home and places and knowing that you guys are safe, that you guys are actually feeling that you are at home, that sovereignty that we enjoy, not just that, the independence that we enjoy, it comes with a lot of cost. And where you actually mentioned about 23rd March 1940 in Pakistan resolution, it was in Lahore, and the All India Muslim League actually presented this resolution in their last session as well. And for everybody who's out there, then from there onwards it's actually history, because imagine if we are to kind of talk about this subcontinent, South Asia, Pakistan was formed, and ever since then, alhamdulillah, we never had to look back. But why do you think that we feel secure? There are people, that there are humans just like us, our family members, our brothers, our sisters, everybody who actually look after our borders. And it has not been an easy job for all of those armed forces personnel to be out there and to defend our motherland. And we really want to pay rich tribute to them. And today happens to be that day that we actually want to pay rich tribute to them, which is why we're very lucky that we've been joined by our guests. मैं उनको उर्दू में कहना चाहता हूँ कि वो इस धरती के बेटे हैं, वो यहाँ हमारे साथ स्टूडियोज़ में मौजूद हैं. Not just that, I think with the even current circumstances and the security position that Pakistan might be in as of now, it is really important that we discuss. Not just that, I think I would want to speak about how artificial intelligence and technological advancements are being taken or looked after by our military institutions. So ladies and gentlemen, for all of those people, first of all, who've actually sacrificed for this motherland, हम आपको सलाम पेश करते हैं. And for all of the Ghazis of the land, हम आपको भी सलाम पेश करते हैं. For the political leadership who have made it possible for us to be over here in a sovereign land which is independent, and that we get to do whatever we want to do as the Islamic Republic of Pakistan is something that we call freedom. So without any further ado, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by the first son of the soil, and he happens to be somebody who's been the recipient of the Hilal-e-Imtiaz military. He's been the recipient of Tamgha Basalat. He is Major General retired Zahid Mahmood Saab. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
23 March Mubarak ho aapko.
And welcome to the transmission.
Thank you very much.
And Ramzan, Pakistan. Alongside him, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be the director of CPSC. He happens to be the recipient of Tamgha Imtiaz military, ISSI, China-Pakistan Studies Center, Institute of Strategic Studies. He is Dr. TALAT SHABBIR. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Ramzan, Pakistan. And मेरा सलाम बहुत ज़रूरी है. मैं चाह रहा था मैं जाहिद भाई के सामने ना हूँ, but it's wonderful. Not just that, ladies and gentlemen, I think at this point of time, what we really need to know is that, these, sons of the soil have actually contributed quite a lot. General Saab, I hope that you're not going to mind about that as well. Would you mind if I share it?
Sure.
So there's a reason why, that these gentlemen are so decorated, because they've made sure that once they were in a war zone, that they're going to give their blood and whatever it takes. And General Saab has actually given a leg for this motherland as well, and probably more than that. Joining alongside General Saab and Dr. Talat SHABBIR Saab, Colonel retired, we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by Brigadier retired MASUD Ahmad Khan Saab, who happens to be a defense analyst. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thanks, Mubarak, Ramzan, Pakistan. Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. And sir, before we start our conversation, Sadaf, this is a very important question which I want to pose all three gentlemen. And the question is, on Pakistan Day, and I had to, think quite a lot to kind of come up with this question. On Pakistan Day, national unity is celebrated. How can the military contribute to strengthen national unity beyond just defense responsibilities?
Thank you very much, Shahzad, first of all, for having me in your program. It's a great honor to be with you. Pakistan Army is primarily, we should understand that this is the representation of the nation.
True.
All right. It's not a separate entity, So this is the national representation. We have the members in this army from all parts of Pakistan, and this is a beautiful bunch. So that's why we call it a Pakistan Army.
True.
Other than the military, of course, military is their prime responsibility. But other than the military, the national cohesion. In national cohesion, as I've said, that this is a bunch, beautiful bunch. So there are people from all over places from Pakistan. So they represent the aspirations of those people also. that is represented here. So Pakistan Army can deliver by winning this war and then asking the nation that, look, this is what the kind of confidence you had in us and this is what we have delivered, all right. And secondly, the victory will bring the unity, all right. So it will be testament of whatever is expected out of them, all right. So we have reached to a time, Shehzad, look, that every Pakistani is interested in the results.
True.
No more talking of living in the under the baggage of the past. We must learn from the mistakes of the past, but we must look forward toward a future which is our actual destination.
Exactly. And sir, thank you so much for pointing our conversation in this direction as well. And let me remind you, so for all of these years that Pakistan has been a sovereign land, ladies and gentlemen, it has been the Pakistan military, it has been the Pakistan Air Force and Pakistan Navy who have contributed immensely. May it be any sort of problem, that the civil community actually faces, Pakistan Army ke Jawan, may it be Pakistan Navy ke Jawan or Pakistan Air Force ke Jawan have always been at the forefront of any brunt. So may it be flooding, may it be anything that you name it. But in addition to this, I think if we are to kind of explore the historical significance of it, how do you think, sir, Colonel Saab, that the vision of Lahore resolution has evolved in terms of national defense and security over the years?
Thank you very much for having me on your show. First of all, as Colonel Saab has said, that Pakistan Army is actually a representation of all segments of our society. So we have representation for all geographical areas of Pakistan. So this is one factor that unites us. And secondly, you have been watching that Pakistan Army has been very instrumental in dealing with all kind of crises and crisis situations in Pakistan in the past, and that's a great contribution part of Pakistan Army. When we look back to Pakistan resolution, we've seen that on that day, 23rd March 1940, it was a vision of then leaders of our country about certain areas to be identified as Pakistan.
Yep.
So that was the beginning of this. By the way, we celebrate this day, and it was instruction of not less than Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ijla himself after 1 week that we must celebrate this day as an important day, all along. So now when we come back to first of all, the most important thing is to protect your sovereignty.
True.
And armed forces, definitely, they protect the geographical frontiers of your country. So it was great responsibility actually put on the shoulders of armed forces to protect the physical geographical frontiers of this country. And definitely, if you go back to the world history, you won't find any country without military. Any country which wishes to survive will definitely have military, and military has very important role to play in the national life. So I think since then, Pakistan Army has been playing a very instrumental role in not only defense of our country, but in the national life, like
national
I mentioned,
cohesion,
crisis,
harmony,
and, yes,
exactly,
harmony
and
too.
development,
Yes.
saving the country, being the saviors of the country. So I think in all aspects of life and in all walks of life,
and
we've
fighting
always
against
seen
the scourge of terrorism, even if it be the cross-border terrorism, even if it be the operations as but our security forces have always stayed on the forefront, always determined to fight all the proxy wars. If we talk about it, if we talk about anything, any unfortunate incident, our security forces have always been there. So sir, if I talk to you about unity, faith and discipline, Iman, Ittihad or Tanzeem, if we talk about it, Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah Rahmatullah Alayhi's word, and our military forces, they are actually determined to fight against all what is happening, beyond borders, if we talk about it. So, how we actually go forward with unity, faith and discipline.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to greet the entire nation of this, we are celebrating this Pakistan Day. And second, I would like to add that Pakistan Army is a national army and represented by all the ethnicities across Pakistan. And most importantly, I would like to highlight there are about 40,000 plus Baloch soldiers serving Pakistan Army. There are 800 Baloch officers serving Pakistan Army. This is very important development. then it is Pakistan Army, irrespective. We don't, in Pakistan Army, we don't see each other from ethnicity or sectarian point of view. We are Pakistan Army representing Pakistan. So it is Pakistan Army we consider which has kept the national fabric together.
True.
So we call it, and the people they acknowledge across the world, the Pakistan Army is the center of gravity of this country, which has kept this country. And
Exactly.
the Indians, the think tanks, the security analysts, they understand it is the Pakistan Army. If you want to damage the country, destabilize Pakistan, it is Pakistan Army, so target Pakistan Army. Unfortunately, the recent development we have seen, the way people they are using social media, living across beyond the Pakistani borders and maligning the state of Pakistan, that is one thing. So as far as the unity, faith and discipline is concerned, if we abide by these principles given by the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, certainly then we are going to make this country a developed country, a prosperous country. Unfortunately, we are not abiding with these principles given by the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Unfortunately, we have political differences. We have a polarizing politics in Pakistan. So there is a division. So unless with sincerity, if we follow this principle, leaving aside our political differences, so this country has potentials in abundance, and the people of Pakistan, they are very capable. So the only thing is giving them opportunity and working for the country's prosperity with sincerity. So then we can take out this.
I think it's a beautiful answer, sir. Thank you so much for stating that as well. And since it's Pakistan Day, we certainly want participation of even if it's the decorated men in uniform, we want participation from Pakistan military, from Pakistan Air Force and Pakistan Navy as well. So joining us, ladies and gentlemen, via Skype on this very auspicious day, we're very lucky that we have been joined by AVM Sahib, retired IJAZ Malik, who happens to be a senior analyst. Hello sir, Assalamu Alaikum, 23rd March, Ramzan Mubarak. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam and Mubarak to you and to all your viewers that we have this day back in Ramadan, because actually, as you know, Pakistan was created on 14th August in Ramadan, and the very foundation was laid on 23rd March 1940 resolution.
Exactly. Now, sir, we have had quite a lot of discussion prior to introducing you as well. We have spoken about how or what the historical significance is of 23rd March. In addition to this, we have spoken about unity, faith, discipline, and the cohesion that our armed forces actually bring within or instill within our society and the social fabric. In addition to this, there's this one very important subject which I would want to touch upon, and that happens to be that how do you think that we can reflect, because we are reflecting on the creation of Pakistan as of now, so what do you believe is the role of Pakistan military in presenting the ideals envisioned at that time, and do you think that we are taking that legacy forward?
Yes, if we see the vision of our great Quaid-e-Azam, the essence of demand for Pakistan was that we should be having a separate homeland for Muslims, wherein they could, live the lives peacefully as per their faith, and they could have, guarantee and assurance for, their own personal freedoms as well as the collective freedom. So if we apply that on our armed forces, so you see armed forces have a resolve which correlate with the faith that we have to safeguard the land or geographic frontiers or our national waters and our national airspace. So this constitute
Towards?
Armed forces, as far as the faith is concerned. And then if we talk about the discipline, Pakistan Armed Forces, obviously, it's one of the world, largest armed forces and equipped to tackle any adversary on land, in air, or on sea.
Or on sea or
So,
on water.
that Alhamdulillah, and then coupled with a very significant, achievement, we must, cherish and always.
Exactly. And certainly, sir, we get together every 23rd March, we cherish it. May it be 14th of August, we cherish it. We cherish it all throughout the year as well, because the kind of freedom and independence that we feel in our sovereign land is something which is second to none. But very quickly, sir, other than, our military institutions, there's this one question which I would want to ask you or pose you, and that's why I actually asked you the previous question as well. Now imagine that if we are to present our leadership the way that it was when Pakistan was created, do you think that the leadership today is actually on the same page? Do you think that we share the same values? Do you think that we share the same morals? Do you think that we share the moral ethos as of when it was in 1940 or 1947 in 2025 as well?
You see, in 1940, the entire Muslim, populace of India, then India, they got together under the visionary leadership of Qaid, who was very, extremely committed and sincere for the cause of Pakistan. And then we see within a short span of just 7 years, we got what we had demanded at Lahore resolution on March the 23rd. So now we need to, look within and evaluate at individual level. Are we committed as much towards the solidarity and prosperity and development of Pakistan as our forefathers, the commoner at that time in 1940 to 1947 were? And secondly, our political leadership, are they resonating the same feeling?
Are they resonating? That's exactly what I'm asking. Are they resonating today?
I would say no. Sorry, with due respect to anybody's feelings, I would say no, because at that time we were united, and now we are fragmented. Now on very trivial things and on our very myopic political affiliations, we have foregone the very essence of being together for the sake of.
And sir, what caused this segmentation? What do you think is the reason of this segmentation?
It has both internal and external aspects. Obviously, our arch enemy India, they never reconciled with the idea of partition. So they have imposed on us wars, they have imposed on us fifth generation warfare, and they have, consistently been able to manage somehow some people who became victim to that propaganda, and they became frustrated about very vision or very I would say the idea of Pakistan.
Exactly. Thank you so much, AVM Saab, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And in addition, I think that at this point of time over here in our this Ramzan Pakistan transmission, it is essential that I actually ask our amazing guests over here, that how do you think, sir, that these relationships can be fostered in between civil leadership and the military leadership?
Thank you for asking this question. This is a critical question.
I have one more too.
Yes, this is it. As Brigadier MASUD was hinting at a point about the people, the collaboration between the people and the armed forces.
True, sir.
AVM IJAZ was also talking about the relationship, the political and military relationship. Look, Shehzad, as a nation, we need to understand that military is politics in a way that it's basically an extension of the politics. Military is a political activity. It's the extension of the politics. It is through other means. So this is the definition of a military. Through other instruments, the purpose of a state, the politicians have to make the policy, they have to do the politics and use military to attain the political objectives for the state.
But sir, then that means that we are not actually taking forward the legacy of the leadership back in 1940s. Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah very rightfully said that military has no participation in politics or should actually have any participation in politics.
No, but the point which I want to bring out, let me complete my point. The basic structure for peace and war, we need to understand this also.
Oh, yeah,
the basic
strategy.
Yes, basic structure for peace and war is totally dependent on one thing, and that is the collaboration between the people and the armed forces. If the people of a nation are not standing behind the armed forces, you are not going to achieve the peace. You will be unable to make the war. So this is where the responsibility lies with the politicians or the leaders, let me say. If they are leaders, they have to address this issue. Unfortunately, it has become a kind of a trend that, you know, you are always pushing the dirty laundry towards the military, and you are asking them to. So this is the basic responsibility of the political leadership to create this cohesion. Now, why the military gets involved into the politics?
And sir, thank you so much for saying that it is indeed the responsibility of the civil leadership.
Yes, and they are supposed to be leading the war also. They have to make the policy how they will win this war. This is their prime responsibility. Unfortunately, our politics has gone so low that the politicians and the lawmakers, they are more interested in the street making rather than the law making, in the road making rather than the road constructing rather than the law making, and leading from the front. But as I said in my first part of answer, that let's not get bogged under the baggage of the past. Let's stop discussing this. Today is the 23rd March. Let this be a day to reset our course and discourse.
So, sir, if you are going to reset our course and discourse, let me move on to Karnal Sahab over here. So, Karnal Sahab, very sorry, this is out of script as well, but this is for the very first time that we have seen such decorated gentlemen sit over here, because on any political show that we witness, probably in the prime time at night, there's lesser representation, and I do know for a fact that why do you even have to go over there to answer all of those silly questions which are being posed. Now imagine that where we spoke about the internal and the external affairs and how, you know, the external probably forces actually try to, you know, kind of disrupt the entire system over here within our own country. There was a narrative which was built, and most of the time it is labeled as establishment, right? And that the establishment ne ye kar diya, establishment ne wo kar diya. How would you, you know, for all of our audiences are out there, we go out in 46 different countries, defend this narrative and then say that, hey, you know what, there's no role, because we do know establishment ka naam kahan istemal hota hai, कि कहाँ उसकी involvement की बात की जाती है. How would you snub this narrative and say that, hey, you know what, this is what our sole responsibility is, and that's what we have actually been doing?
Yeah, Shahzad, actually, when you talk of prime time, it is very primed most of the time. So I think there's less wisdom and more, you know, just heated arguments. As General Zahid has mentioned, you know, you have national objectives, and civilian leadership responsible to pursue those national objectives. So military or armed forces are one of the institutions of that whole component of governance. So if we look at the, you know, history of our country, the interventions that the military made, you know, there was always a gap that was actually created by the political leadership. But I think, as I agree with General Zahid, that we must stop it here, and let's find out how can we move forward. There are ways to move forward, you know, and the most important is, like I just, you know, since I served in military for long 32 years, I believe there's a process of training and grooming and talim and tarbiyat in the military. You know, that is where you find people, you know, rising, and there's a meritocracy, and so there's no system of grooming, training, talim and tarbiyat in the political spheres of our country. I think we need to set our course right, and we should find ways how can this the civilian leadership can be groomed to run the affairs of the country. I just, you know, I can just say sometimes, you know, you find there's a very complex governance issues. There are very complex security issues, strategic issues. And most of the time I find that the people who are actually running the affairs, they do not have idea of how to, you know, go about it. So I think there has to be a deliberate training for all the segments, civilian leadership, to run the affairs of the country. It's not very simple, you know, it's not very simple. You need to groom from universities, institutions, and
that's exactly something which I've always loved about Pakistan Army, Pakistan Air Force, or Pakistan Navy. Now, Alhamdulillah, sir, you know, when after the pause of 7 long years, you know, I was that one gentleman who was hosting the 23rd March parade when it was taking place, and did it on multiple years as well. Not just that, what I learned over there was that, you know, if there were people, you know, who were serving Pakistan Army in ISPR, they were sent to foreign universities to learn what camera work is, you know, how films need to be made, how documentaries need to be made. And this is that one discipline that I'm talking about. Now imagine, you know, my nephew actually serves Pakistan Army, my father-in-law has served Pakistan Army, my brother-in-law serves Pakistan Army, and we've seen them going all over the world to learn and acquire skills. And this is something which actually ensures meritocracy as well. But sir, very quickly, in addition to this, I'm going to move on to Brigade Sahab over here. And by the way, on the SMD, you know, right at the back, there's this live parade going on at Wagah border.
Yeah.
And it's always amazing to see जो आपको वहाँ पर emotional rush मिलता है और adrenaline rush मिलता है, serotonin मिलता है आपको. It's something that is, I mean, this feeling cannot be compared to anything. Over there, you're jumping from your Pakistan Zindabad and the entire
And you have to go really
environment.
loud, you have to scream your lungs out because,
My
you know,
God.
like all
My
that.
God, it's
Exactly.
fascinating. And you know what
Yes.
is fascinating? To see all of those people out there witness what Pakistan Army is capable of and how they actually do it all day long and how they are actually securing our borders and gates. I think it's beautiful.
पाकिस्तान रेंजर्स पंजाब अफवाज पाकिस्तान मुहाफिजान वतन हैं और पाकिस्तान की आवाम उनके साथ खड़ी है। हवलदार अब्दुल कयूम अपनी मूंछों को ख़ास अंदाज में ताव देते हुए और दुश्मन को कहते हुए कि बच के, हमसे ज़रा बच के।
Yeah, so I'm going to start from where I actually left, where how, you know, it is spellbounding. And for everybody who's out there, I think what we realize is that for all of those amazing people to sit over there, they are not from only Lahore. People have traveled from Islamabad, people have traveled from Karachi, from
Yeah,
all nook
all
and
across
corner,
Pakistan.
from all nook and corner
Yeah.
of Pakistan to go and support their military. And I think that's the kind of cohesion that we are talking about. But in addition to this, I'm going to continue with where we were speaking about the external factors as well. So sir, how do you think that, you know, when we speak about Pakistan's defense posture is in relation to our neighbors? Do you think that it needs to get better?
First of all, I would like to add some points as General Zahid, what he was describing, that everybody has to play his role as far as when we talk of Pakistan is concerned. But every time the civil leadership, they look towards army for everything.
Every time.
For every time. So this is what the Chief of Army Staff has been telling in the past several months, that everybody has to play his role, whether they are from police, CTD, the district administration, the judiciary, everybody has to play. So more recently, what we have seen in Balochistan after there was an attack in Barkhan area. So there was the levies checkpost, they were 200 to 300 meters away from the point of the site of incident, but they did not react. So today in Balochistan, 84% area is the levies area, the B area.
True.
So it was only the FC which reacted, and they were in the spot within 5 minutes. So that is one thing that is very important. As far as threat is concerned to Pakistan, it is from east and west. And this is what it was said in the book, My Enemy's Enemy. The President Dawood said to India, you fix Pakistan militarily from the east, we will take up from the west so that we can fix Pakistan. So that is the concept here we are confronted with the situation from east and west. Similarly, we haven't seen anything good from Afghanistan since from our independence.
True.
So similarly, last 20 years when the Ashraf Ghani and Karzai were ruling Afghanistan, so it was basically Afghanistan was taken over by the RA.
True.
There were 66 camps in Afghanistan. So there was a representative of RA with every governor, the 34 Afghan provinces. So it was Indian RA which they created BROS in 2018, where they gathered all the Baloch terror outfits in one platform. And in 2020, there was a coalition, there was a consortium of terrorist organization where TTP, the Fitna al-Kharij, joined BROS. So we have been facing this terrorism, this scourge of terrorism for quite some time. We defeated them.
Alhamdulillah.
In the past. So it was only after when we started negotiations with the so-called Fitna al-Kharij and the return of Afghan Taliban. In 2020, there were 49 terror attacks in Pakistan. So then we saw the surge in terror attack 2021 when Afghan Taliban returned and subsequently. So it is only possible when you facilitate the terrorists we are operating from Afghanistan. So that is very unfortunate part. So the only thing is the rules, the games, they have been now defined that we will go where the terror is originating. So
Yes.
that is the only option beside giving diplomacy a chance.
Wonderful.
We were talking about, all these things which had been happening on, a lot of forefronts. We're talking about them. Either it be on the border, either it be, if we talk about it, Pakistan Army has sacrificed a lot. If we talk about it, jaan se, mal se. We talk about the APS incident. Pakistan Army was there, and their families, if we talk about them, if we talk about their children and the way they were massacred, the whole nation bleeds. Our tears, they were not enough on that day, and we have seen it, and we have been talking about it since then. When we talk about the incident of 9th May, Pakistan Army once again got targeted, and we have seen it that Pakistan Army has done a lot for the whole entire nation, if we talk about it. So, we are seeing that on every forefront, Pakistan Army has already been there. Whatever is happening in the country, whenever Pakistan has been facing any issue, whenever there is something, Pakistan Army has a lot to offer from their plate as well. What do you think about it, sir?
So this is, I think this is regrettable, whatever you're hinting at. This is not good. As we have already spoken about the hybrid application, we need to understand that the purpose of this application is to create wedge between the people and the army.
True.
All right.
Because the normal people of Pakistan, they love the army.
So anyone from within or without,
Everyone,
whosoever is, contributing in creating the wedge between the people of Pakistan, he is not a sincere person for Pakistan. All right. We need to identify. Unfortunately, because of many reasons, there are people inside Pakistan, few wittingly and mostly unwittingly, they don't understand what they are up to.
True.
How they are being used, rather how they are being misused. All right.
And we kind of really need to educate our masses as well, which is why I think that, today actually taking advantage of this opportunity, and in addition to this, I think, but I would want to kind of speak about, where right at the beginning I said that now there's artificial intelligence, that now there's technological advancement, and you, sir, happen to be the director CPSC and ISSI as well of strategic studies. Do you think that, this industry revolution that we are witnessing, that our armed forces are actually on the bandwagon, and that we're looking forward to that with the modern warfare, with artificial intelligence, and all of these things taking place?
In the army, that I understand, there's a system of equipping or modernizing our systems, upgrading our systems. They're dealing with that. I think that problem we will face is that we actually armed forces would and the people of Pakistan would be looking to be at the different pages. They have to be on one page. Whatever is the onslaught, we need to collectively handle and deal with it. It's not, the one institution can't do that. It's a whole of the nation approach that I think we'll have to go for in order for dealing with the situation.
You're looking after the subject of strategic studies. What about internet outages in the country?
Yes. No, that's not the solution. I think you should, you face it. Whatever is there, you face it.
We have to face it. There's no other choice.
And you have to face it, because actually that is creating other problems also. There's side effect. Fallout effects of that. But I think we need to educate people. We need to set some objectives. We need to engage. For example, as General Sahab has mentioned, that there are people who are wittingly doing it. True. And there are people who are unwittingly doing it.
And even from outside Pakistan. Yeah. And we have evidence of that as well. Even I have evidence of that, how people sitting outside Pakistan on their laptops and trying to do that as well. Very quickly, sir, towards the end, before we wrap it up, obviously it's about national cohesion, it's about harmony, it's about coming together as a nation, it's about making sure that we have a similar goal that is shared amongst maybe the civil leadership, the society, or the armed forces as well. And so there's no doubt. I mean, the amount of lives which have been rendered for the motherland by the armed forces personnel or the civilians or the political leadership as well, it's second to none. And we certainly pay rich tribute to each and every one of you who's out there, who's actually done it for their country, maybe when you were a bureaucrat, maybe when you served the Pakistan Army, maybe for us, you know, to be over here and speak about Pakistan military and the civil leadership as well. So very quickly towards the end, I think, going to start from Brigadier Saab. So Brigadier Saab, whatever you want to say, please go ahead. There are 46 different countries that we're going out. Say whatever you feel like today on 23rd March, Pakistan Day.
There is a requirement of national unity and cohesion, and we sit together and we should work together for the prosperity and peace, a peaceful Pakistan.
Alhamdulillah, Ameen. Subhan General Sahab, please.
Shahzad, I'll say that we need to understand that we are in the war. This is a serious business. Our political leadership must own the war, and our nation must stand behind the armed forces. Our armed forces have the capacity, capability and will. They can deliver and they will deliver, and this will be a national victory.
And thank you so much, sir, for saying that. There's a very important message actually within what General Sahab has actually said. He said that the civil leadership needs to own this war as well, and I think everybody needs to stand up for this occasion. Please, sir.
I think I would request whole of the nation to work for Pakistan, and let's join hands to achieve our goals. If Pakistan is, we will be, पाकिस्तान की वजह से हम हैं और पाकिस्तान की वजह से हम रहेंगे.
Exactly, as I said, thank you so much, gentlemen, the decorated gentlemen, the sons of the soil, for joining us on this important day, and it's Ramadan once again as well. We're talking about, how Pakistan came into being, the historical significance, what we need to do, the technological advancements taking place as well. For everybody who's out there, we're going to bid you farewell, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you, and thank you so much for keeping the honor and peace of the motherland, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, at the forefront and prioritizing it, being and keeping it at our #1 priority. May it be our life, it comes second. May it be our family, it comes third. May it be anything else, it comes later. First comes Pakistan. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ramzan, Pakistan, Pakistan, Zindabad.
Ramzan, Pakistan, Allah ka ehsan hai. Ramzan, Pakistan.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much. You are obviously tuned into PTV World and you watching Ramzan Pakistan. Mujhe kehte hain Shehzad Hasan Khan,
welcome back, Shehzad. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. And with me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by Ms. Sadaf Ali Khan as well, full of energy, full of a lot of wisdom as well. But with this, we're actually going to proceed with our transmission.
Where were you? I want to know that. Where did you go?
I went to offer my Asr prayers.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
That's really
and for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, this Ramzan, I do believe that it's a reminder to be good Muslims, to be good people, to be good humans, to share a lot, or have a lot of empathy. Make sure that you reach out to people who are from the downtrodden segment of this society, and make sure that you help them as much as you can. But while we are at it, this intersection, I would want to introduce my wonderful guest over here. First up, obviously, happens to be my teacher, my mentor. I look up to him, and there's a lot of discussions that I've had with him off air as well. He is none other than Mr. Aslam KHAKI. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
And I felt really happy to see you today, and please share it with the audience what you said to me off air, because I want to feel happy on screen as well.
Okay, off air we would be talking too much.
But before we say that, let me introduce our other guests as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be one of those people. उनको लगा कि दौड़ने में जिंदगी है, from souls to souls. That's what we are actually saying. He's one of those people who made sure that he's going to introduce running, and marathons, and how it actually helps you in your spiritual well-being, in your health and whatnot. So we're very lucky that we've been joined by Bilal Ehsan, happens to be the co-founder of Islamabad Running Club. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting, and good to see you again.
Thank you so much. Likewise. And looking at you, how you dressed up looks like So
I was just like, I should dress like an athlete, so casual and
And you are an athlete. We've had this discussion even prior to this as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Not just that, with Ramazan, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of questions क्या मैं रोज़ा रख के brush कर सकता हूँ? Can I brush, you know, after fasting or not? What sort of treatments can I get done? Can I use mouthwash or not? How do you look after our oral hygiene and whatnot? So to kind of answer all of those questions, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Dr. Rimsha Afzal, happens to be a cosmetic dentist. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me. It's
Thank you so much for
amazing to
coming
be
here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Ramzan Mubarak, wonderful to have you all. And before, sir, we start our conversation, we obviously have to prepare our iftari as well, because our iftaris are over here inside our studios. And to kind of get over the conundrum, aaj kya pakaun, let me introduce Miss Isha. So Isha, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Walaikum salam, Sir Shahzad. How are you?
How are you, Isha?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And I feel like today it's 23rd March. It's a very special day for Pakistan.
Yep.
So this is why we have a very special dish which is close to our hearts, which is biryani.
Okay, let me guess. Oh, you have given it away already. Right, so biryani is obviously very close to our hearts. And let me tell you one thing about biryani. So biryani, the problem over here is that authentic biryani, you can get it in Karachi. You know, and I'm sorry if you know somebody feels bad about it, or for all of those restaurant owners who are saying कि हम बिरयानी बहुत अच्छी पकाते हैं. Islamabad and Lahore does not have good biryani at all. I've been to every restaurant, no matter what. So I think it's going to be a great challenge for you. So what are we doing for biryani today?
Yeah, so we like you said, I feel like it is very loved across Pakistan, but it is also very controversial. You know, like the Karachi biryani or the Lahore biryani.
Yeah.
And then
Islamabad's biryani is better actually, because you know, like Islamabadi people, we do not like spices that much. Now we actually want to have very subtle sort of flavor in biryani as well. So the Karachi one is actually very spicy. I cannot have it. I really cannot stand it.
I feel like we all have different perspectives. I feel like what makes biryani is when it makes your nose runny, your eyes watery, your tongue tangle.
So yeah.
It's the experience that you go through.
Yeah, I think it's true as well. But okay, I think that the most important question about biryani is that biryani with aloo or without aloo.
Yes, you know, I was just getting to that. Another
this was my question as well.
Yeah, so
everyone had this in mind. Let us know if you guys love your biryani with aloo or without aloo.
So what are we doing today? Are we doing it with aloo today or without aloo?
We are obviously having it with aloo. I am an aloo.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Okay, so mutton biryani, chicken biryani or beef biryani?
I like beef biryani to
you
be
like
honest.
beef biryani?
But we have chicken biryani.
The doctor ne bada gosh mana
I like chicken biryani as well.
You like chicken biryani?
Yeah, with chicken.
I think I'll go with
and
mutton.
aloo.
Mutton, yeah, mutton obviously is a luxury over here. Whenever it's somebody's walima, what do you want to have? We want to have mutton on the table. Walima bada acha hua. Unhone sab mehmanon ko mutton khilaya. But okay, so over to you. You know, please make sure that you start with whatever you have to do for the amazing Aloo Ali chicken biryani today in recipe. By the way, where's pakoras, samosas? I know that
we've had plenty of those. I think we've had plenty of those, and because today was a very national and special day.
Ande wala ho jaye.
Okay, next time.
Okay, so next time tomorrow we will do that as well. Let's move back to Aslam KHAKI Sahab, sir. Assalamu alaikum to all our guests. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Wonderful to have you. So, sir, today, obviously Islam, our beautiful religion, happens to be a message of peace and unity and humility. Let's share whatever you think about it and whatever our religion tells about containing peace or having peace amongst people.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's topic is peace and unity.
Yes, sir.
These are interlinked. If there is no unity, you can't enjoy the peace, because unity results in peace and the conflict results in the, you can say, terrorism or turbulence. As far as the sociology of the society is concerned, the family is the first unit of society. One male and female, they just form a society. And Quran tells about them that this bond of love, this bond of marriage is not a bond of only the physical bond, rather it is a bond of love. Quran categorically says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. We have created, God signs it, we have created the pairs or the couples for you so that you enjoy peace. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that you enjoy peace. Not only the physical, you can say the convenience of physical pleasure, but the ultimate target is the peace. As we say that good, there is a peace. In the home we say, home sweet home. So home sweet home in home, peaceful is there. So further Quran says, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, that we have made a bond of love and affection between you, between the two. So there is love and affection. Love is reciprocal. I am useful for my wife is useful for me in all respects. But if something happens, if I get disabled or my wife goes and in a condition where she cannot perform her duties in anything. But if I can leave because I have the right, Joe, technically. But if I have the affection for her, I should not leave, and vice versa. So sharing and caring, I say, love and affection, mawaddatum wa rahma. It's very, I say, good that we enjoy it. In UK, when I went for the first time, just in Birmingham University, also this sharing and caring. So it is a fair. And this is, Quran says, if there is no love, you have the option to separate, despite if you have failed reconciliation, failed all, because रोज की लड़ाई से एक दिन की जुदाई बेहतर है.
But sometimes, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes, you know, like we have a very fine feeling, we're living peacefully, but there is no love. Then what?
Guzara.
Yeah, guzara, but there is no hatred, as say. Love, hatred, and guzara, just neutral. Because
three different situations.
After some years, we live for our children.
Yes, sir.
After a year, first in a few years of marriage, we live for each other, love, all that honeymoon type life. But after when the children are there, the focus goes, particularly for the mother, the focus goes to the children. So then there is guzara. But after that, the children go to their, then it is otherwise. So that Quran is says, that why I always say, generally the people say that marriage is a lifelong project, lifelong process. I so no, it is a love long. Quran says, mawaddatu wa rahma. If there is no love, then it is just we are pulling on hunch of the hunchback. This is the situation. So marriage is not lifelong; it is a love long. But we pray that it should be love and the life, both should run together concurrently.
And sir, since you mentioned that both should run together, and we do have examples of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life, how he used to race with Aisha as well, and I think
he used to run with his wife, Hazrat Aisha, to just please him, and otherwise. And this is one of the rights of the children, that they should go for sabaha, for education, and for this exercise.
And I'll come back to this, sir, because now we're talking about running, so I'll have to move on to the CEO of the running club as well. And because we are saying from soul to souls, how did you manifest this idea, first of all? You know, because we have explored already. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry, we have to go out for a short break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Ramzan, Pakistan.
Ramzan, Pakistan, Allah ka ehsan hai. Ramzan, Pakistan.
And it has been a pleasure having so many people from diverse fields of life, and yes, having you with me as well. This is a pleasure as well. Your energy level, Shehzad, it has always been on point. But if we have to talk about building community through running, if you have to talk about it, and you know, like there is a gentleman with us here in the studio whose name is Bilal EHSAN, and he is the CEO of Islamabad Running Club, and he has been, you know, like building a community with running. How did this idea come to your mind?
So just before starting it, I am the co-founder. So there are other founders as well, because I don't call myself CEO. So I just want to clarify it. So your question was that how running basically builds up the community. So normally what happens is that normally people think that running builds the fitness for you. It's a byproduct. But if you see, running has more benefits apart from just for building the fitness. You can build the community, you can connect the people through a common way, which is a running. So you have a chance to meet so many people. It's a connectivity between the people. People from different parts of the life connect for a common cause, which is a running. So that's how you basically try to build up the community through running. And it's a very an expressive way, like you can express yourself in a running without having like any background. When we connect in the running, it does not necessarily like what your background is, what your profession is. Anyone can be a part of that journey. So running is an excellent form of connecting and building up the societies. If you go abroad, if you see that you will see 1,000 people running on a daily basis. So they combine for a common cause.
Exactly.
So that was the reason that we wanted to have develop a running community in Pakistan, especially in Islamabad. And mashallah, in the last 3 and 4 year running has been growing in Pakistan, not only in Islamabad but even in Lahore and Karachi. And we have seen people coming for a common cause. They want to invest on their fitness. They want to relax themselves because it has a lot of emotional benefits as well.
We're talking about community building, Aslam Khaki Saab. How much important is community building and unity within the Ummah? How important is that?
Yeah, it's very much important. As Quran says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. You should hold the rope of Allah and don't get divided. Rope of Allah means with the common code of life which Allah has given. And it is based upon that. Even the peace, as we say, and the unity, as Qaid-e-Azam also said that unity, faith and discipline. So unity, they all three are linked with each other, supportive of or complementary rather I would say in the community building or in the building of the. Even Quran goes for it when it says that even if you have, or in the war, if you have dominated the opponents, but if they surrender for the peace, you should also surrender for the peace. Though you are in victorious position, you have dominated them. That custom at that time was pre-Islamic, that they used to just have a massacre, kill the enemy when they were just downfall. But Quran says, وَإِن جَنَحُوا لِلسَّلْمِ فَجْنَحْ لَهَا. If they just surrender for peace, you should also spread the wings of the peace over them. That's even more than that. Don't give them any teasing or balama that you were to know. Just spreading as the hen, it spreads the wings over its.
But sir, psychologically, I don't think that human nature actually allows us to do so. You know, when we do know for a fact that हम ऊपर से आ सकते हैं, तो हमारी कोशिश भी यही होती है कि हम ऊपर से ही आए.
ऊपर से ही आए. Yeah, but this Islam does not allow it because Islam is a religion of peace, and Islam also says कि وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. Oh, you should recall those days when you were at fight with each other. Allah just eradicated the enmity among you, and you become the brethren. فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. You become the brethren. That was all due to the peace.
Exactly. And certainly I think it is very essential for you to have peace within your own self. Yeah. And sir, I unfortunately cannot have peace with my own self if I do feel that my breath is not right. You know, so I'm going to move on to Dr. Rimsha over here. So Dr. Rimsha, very quickly, with a lot of confectionaries that we are having, a lot of samosas and pakoras, because I'm not going to reflect upon or ask you about, you know, how, because of that breath that we have while we are fasting, because it's loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, and there's a special decree to that as well. So I'm going to move on to you and ask you, how do you think that we can look after our oral hygiene, especially in these days where we are having so much of fried food, there's so much of piyaz. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam categorically said not to eat onion, or if you eat onion, please make sure that you do not go to the mosque as well. So how do you think we can look after?
Well, I think the main issue during Ramzan is of course dry mouth because of the long span. So for that, I think if you are diabetic or if you have extremely dry mouth, for that you can visit your dentist and they can prescribe you saliva stimulant tablets. So they really help with that. At least you can have in Sehri. And also after Iftar, try to have as much as water that you can have. Otherwise, there's no solution to during the whole day. And otherwise, you can also use miswak, which is also a great sunnah. And there are so many benefits to miswak. It is antibacterial, it has naturally fluoride releasing properties, and also it has been chemically and mechanically.
I'm just going to stop you over here and we'll come back to you as well, and I'm going to come back to Bilal Bhai over here. So Bilal Bhai, you know, because we're talking about community building, and since Sir is actually giving us beautiful references from the Holy Book Quran, now if we are to establish that, imagine that, you know, just very recently we did see now over here in Islamabad, there's this amazing marathon took place on Iran Avenue, because I live just besides it. You know, so for you to kind of conducively, you know, conduct such sort of marathons, where do you think Pakistan is, first of all? Because in the West, we do see how there's a 50 kilometer, 100 kilometer, 200 kilometer marathons. Do you think our, you know, this subcontinent or South Asian genes actually allow us to run for this long?
I think we should not blame the genes. I think with consistency and hard work, you can achieve anything. Definitely, genetic has a lot of role to play in your fitness as well. The Europeans, when we talk about Europeans, that why they are more fitter than us, it's not only the genes, it's about their lifestyle as well. If you see their lifestyle since the childhood, they will encourage their kid to go outside, to play cricket, to play football, to go outside, to do a lot of work on a daily basis. They're all on the feet all the time. But again, if we talk about our society, our lifestyle is very lazy sort of.
But how to build that stamina?
So if you're talking about building, if you're talking about building a stamina, it's like a scientific. In our club, we promote running as a science. We say running is a science. When we talk about science, it's all about that you have to be consistent. There is a rule to follow. You can't say that, okay, I will go out today, I will go out for a week and I will develop a stamina. It takes ages and ages to develop a stamina. I was listening to a podcast and one of the best runners in the world, they say that it took around them 10 to 12 years to develop to that stage. So first of all, you need to have patience.
Long process.
It's a long, and secondly, what the sir has talked about, and in Islam also taught us about the patience as well.
Exactly.
And when we talk about Ramzan, Ramzan is an excellent example of practicing the running, because you need to be disciplined, you need to control on your nerves, just like in running, you need to control on your mind and your body as well.
Exactly.
So you can, the Ramzan is an excellent way to practice the running.
Exactly, and you really need to train for that. And I think for everybody who's out there, you know, in order for you to kind of train, what you really need to do is that you need to start running. Okay, so I'm going to start running over here.
And I know that, we need something, and this is why he's there. Okay, so if we talk about, the concept of unity, Aslam Khaki Saab, you said that this is very much needed. How much is it the need of the hour? Because these days we're seeing that Muslims, sometimes, it's very difficult to be on the same page for a lot of people. How much necessary is it in these days?
Yeah, then there are two phases, you can say, or two perspectives. One is that on the religious issues, as I say, that we should not indulge. We should condemn actions before we condemn reaction. So what causes to disunity or what causes to the conflicts, that cause should be eradicated. In religious perspective, we should not discuss or debate such issues which are not relevant for this time. They were the past and they closed. About our, you can say, the issues of the caliphate, the issues of the historical events when they were in conflict. So that would lead to the unity, and unity leads to the peace. And on the political level is the same. Particularly, I would like to say to the students, I say that you should not involve in the political. You must have political ideas, but you should not go to that level where you come in conflict with each other, fight against each other, grudging and again being the aggressive. So this is the time where we should understand that what the issue is. So even this Ramadan asks us to be patient. Sabara yasburu means to be patient, and Ramadan and Som means to restrain yourself from the other things. So the message is there. And one thing I would like to add is that miswak, as far as the miswak is concerned, the natural miswak which he was referring, if you do that during your fast, you are safe. Your fast is not just broken. But with the toothpaste, it is not permitted.
Shehzad is actually getting trained for the next marathon.
Thank you, sir, for completing it as well. But just now, alhamdulillah, we've been joined by MOAZZAM Sahab, who happens to be a Naat Khawan, and he's going to recite a wonderful Naat for all of us. We'll continue with our conversation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Isliye bhag ke gaya tha. Thank you.
You can see that you are going from home, you will run faster. And you are coming back, you will be slow.
Sir.
तेरे दियार के एहसान भूलते ही नहीं तेरे दियार के एहसान भूलते ही नहीं इनायतों के वो सामान भूलते ही नहीं तेरे दियार के वो जालियां दरीचे वो मिंबरों मेहराब वो दर वो रोज़ा वो दरबार भूलते ही नहीं इनायतों के वो जबी पे नूर नजर में अदब दिलों में गुदाज हरीम नाज के मेहमान भूलते ही नहीं बवक्त इज़्ने हुज़ूरी वो आंसुओं की तड़प वो आरज़ूएं वो अरमान भूलते ही नहीं इनायतों के वो और नजर बदल गई मंजर बदल गए सारे तेरी निगाह के फैजान भूलते ही नहीं तेरे दयार के एहसान भूलते ही नहीं इनायतों के वो सामान भूलते ही नहीं तेरे
Jazakallah Muazzam Ali Zahid Sahab for the wonderful recitation of the Naat Maqbool Rasul Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Thank you so much Aslam Khaki Sahab for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here. Thank you so much Bilal Bhai, the co-founder of Islama Running Club, for being with us. Lovely to have you over here. Dr. Rimsha, you will stay with us. We'll come back to you. But for now, I do believe that my Sindhi biryani is actually ready. So I'm going to go get a look.
Smell it.
And then we'll come back. Okay, so let's go to the kitchen corner. And so we are, माशाल्लाह इतनी जल्दी आपने चावल उबाल भी लिए, मसाला बना भी लिया, आलू डाल भी दिए, माशाल्लाह. So yes, please take us through. What have you done today?
Yeah, it looks like a very beautiful dish, and what we used is basmati rice. I feel like the trick to make the best biryani is using basmati rice, since it is long and it is thick, and it makes the rice more fluffy and light.
Just a reminder, you're fasting.
I'm just trying to smell it.
Okay.
I
can smell it from that.
Yeah,
and I feel like what really puts together a biryani is the condiments on top, you know, the fried onions, the fresh coriander, the lemon wedges.
Wow.
So yeah, and actually, you know,
I want to ask you a question here. what did you add for this aroma? Because, you know, like this smells really good.
Acha, I feel like it's all the spices, you know, like garam
Where is the aroma?
masala.
I'm standing over here. I cannot smell it. चमचा नाक को लगाने लगा मुझे सुनने से पहले तुम्हें वहाँ कुछ बू आ रही है कैसे आ रही है?
Because you know, like this hour, this
you know, women have strong smell, strong sense of smell.
Yeah, strong.
I have to add
aware.
something over here that no, like whenever I am cooking something, I really sniff it and I can actually get to know that if it's having enough spices.
Oh,
yes,
wow,
something which
that's
a lot of
actually-
people do not have.
Oh, wow, very unique superpower.
सखियाँ जो है ना वो आपस में conversation करें, but that's wonderful. I think it's about time that we actually take the recipe on screen as well, so that for everybody who's out there, they can actually kind of go into their kitchens and make
Yeah, it
the
looks
authentic
beautiful.
Sindhi biryani, which Isha actually made for us today. And so I think it's great. So Sindhi chicken biryani, ladies and gentlemen, the recipe entails of these ingredients, which says for chicken biryani, you need chicken 500 grams, boiled rice 500 grams, salt as per taste, biryani masala, yogurt, tomatoes. Yeah. I mean, whoever's actually writing these spellings probably want to or probably need to go back to school. Imli, lemon for garnishing. On the next page, what do we have for chicken biryani? Do we have the next page or this is it for chicken biryani? I think this is it. Chicken 500 gram, boiled rice 500 gram, salt as per taste, biryani masala, yogurt, tomatoes, imli, lemon for garnishing. That's it for chicken
And now you're
biryani.
coming back joining us here. We have been joined by some more guests here. And this is going to be very exciting yet again because, you know, like whenever the camera goes there and when it comes here, we have some more guests joining us and we start another discussion, yet another diverse discussion that we start over here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be an international lawyer. He will be speaking about human rights in a globalized world, challenges and enforcement. He's Mr. Asif Tanveer. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I love
you,
what you're
Sir
wearing. I
Shahzad.
like your
Thank
red
you,
socks and
Ms.
the tie. Wonderful. Thank you so
for
much.
the compliment.
I know you truly deserve it, and for for somebody to be over here and speak about human rights is something which is essential and important. Alongside him, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be the Chief Executive Officer of the Tartila Quran. He's Mr. SANAULLAH Saab. SANAULLAH Saab, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you over
we'll be
here.
asking some more questions today.
Yeah, and before we actually ask any more questions, I'm going to go back to Dr. Rimsha and give her the opportunity to kind of say what she was saying and complete what you were about to say.
Yes, so we were basically talking about the miswak, the sunnah. So basically it is that it is good if you use miswak every day, but you don't have to be too aggressive, so it doesn't lead to gum recession. And also I would like to say that there is a misconception regarding treatments. People usually avoid going for dental treatments during
this
fasting.
is what I wanted to ask
Exactly.
you. Because I had been delaying my treatment as well. It was in the middle of, you know, like happening, and then I was like, okay, now I'm fasting. What are the timings that, you know, like I can go to the dentist when I'm fasting?
So you can get every treatment like root canal, fillings, extractions. You can get all the treatments, even
All the
orthodontic treatments during fasting. We just have, even you can get the local anesthesia because it's not really having any nutritional value. So what important is that you do not swallow the blood during extraction, or you do not swallow any water. Otherwise, you can get any treatment during fasting. We also use rubber dam to prevent that.
But you know, for your blood to actually come out, even if it may probably be from your gums, I think that there's different.
We would prefer if you go after fasting, but if there is any urgency, if you have
Are
pain.
you operating after fasting hours?
We do, and we also do during fasting. If there is any patient that has to come for preventive treatment, for fillings, RCTs, we do those treatments.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much for saying that. And in addition to this, to kind of complete this conversation, I now have realized how important is flossing for us.
Oh, yes.
And most of the time, the tooth decay or the caries that we actually experience and the fillings that we have to go in for is because of the fact that we are not flossing. So what do you have to say about it?
So flossing is that you will always floss before brushing early in the morning, and you will also floss before you sleep. So it is very important because there is food impacted between your teeth, especially during Iftar. We know people are really heavy on eating, so it is really important to floss and then you brush. So mouthwash is not really important. Only two things are important: flossing, and you can get like water flosser also, which is more convenient.
Really,
if
water flossing? How do we do water flossing?
Water flosser
do we have
is
special toothbrushes for that?
Yeah, normally, you know,
pani se hi bas.
traditionally we have a very normal thread-like floss, but now we have water flosser in pharmacies. You can easily get that. That is more convenient for older patients. So it's basically a water-filled, you know, an appliance, and it really cleans your teeth with the pressure of water.
शुक्र है आपने बता दिया, वरना मैं तो मैं समझे वो जो हम ऐसे नहीं करते
नहीं नहीं
but कीचू कीचू की आवाज
नहीं
water flossing.
No.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rimsha, for seconding that as well.
Thank you so
I'm gonna-
much.
I want to ask a question. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
no problem.
Rimsha, if we talk about it, you know, like whenever we start flossing, it actually makes our gums bleed in initial
मतलब वो
days.
पहले से गंदे थे.
Yeah. But some people do face this issue. What's the reason behind
So
that?
mostly people face this issue because there is an underlying gum disease.
Yep.
They are not going for scaling. So it's better to, if it is an alarming sign, if you're having bleeding, you need to go for scaling and you
Exactly.
need to get checked if there is an underlying gum disease.
Or meningitis. I don't know.
Yes,
it's
any
not
gingivitis.
meningitis. What do we call it?
Gingivitis.
Sorry, what?
Gingivitis, which is inflammation of
Thank you
gums.
so much for
Yes.
correcting me as well. But now very quickly coming back to Sana Saab and Asif Saab over here. So Asif Saab, Sana Saab is obviously our regular guest now, so I'll move on to him after you. So when we are to speak about human rights, there's only 3 things that I'm going to discuss with you. And that is, what are human rights? What to do when your human rights are being violated? And how do you think that human rights can be put in place?
Sir, thank you so much.
problem.
I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much.
And I would congratulate your kind self, Ms. Sadaf, and entire team of PTV World,
Alhamdulillah.
whose dedication, efforts have made this Ramzan transmission visible in 56 countries.
46, yes.
46 countries.
Yeah.
And it is a big achievement. And also today is a very special day, 23rd March.
Yep.
And we all are celebrating Pakistan Day. And through this channel, I would like to say to Pakistani brothers and sisters that when we say that 23rd March is a Pakistan Day, it is our now duty that how we serve this country as well. And Ms. Sadaf and Sir Shehzad, for a moment, if you imagine that you are standing in Manto Park, Lahore, and it is the date is 23rd March 1940, and you are there and thousands of people are there, and they are very charged and they are expecting that something big is going to happen. And among that crowd, one tall man is standing wearing its sherwani, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and he say in his very firm voice, and you are witnessing, and he is saying that we are not a minority, we are a nation, and we must demand our separate homeland.
True.
So it was the spirit which our elders have done it, and now it is our duty.
Thank you
that
so
how
much,
we
sir,
serve
for saying that,
Pakistan.
and it's beautiful that you have stated it as well. But since you're my guest and I'm your host, I'll be very respectable. But हमारे पास वक्त की थोड़ी कमी है, तो मेरे सवाल का जवाब चाहिए मुझे ज़रा प्लीज़ वो दे दें.
So far the human rights are concerned, human rights are basic, the human freedoms which are guaranteed to every human being on the basis of that is a human being. These are inalienable, indivisible, and mentioned in every law, either it is your national law, constitution, international documents, treaties, like UDHR, ICCPR, ICESCR, so many things.
And what can we do when we say that, you know, that the human rights are being violated? For example, Palestine, Gaza, Kashmir.
Yes, once if we see what is happening in Gaza and Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir, so there are many mechanisms internationally which we can focus that how we can register our complaints. For example, every country
but the law is there. I'm so sorry to interrupt. The law is there, and yet again there is nothing which is being done, or whenever it's been done, that's a very little effort that we see.
Yes, you're right, Mr. Sadaf. There are 2 things I would say. First one is that how you can raise your voice. What are the forums? And second is why it is happening then when law is there, but we see what is happening in Gaza and Kashmir. There are 2 things. First thing, how you raise your voice, that you must know what is the procedure. That every country goes through UPR process, which is done in United Nations Human Rights Council. So you can lodge your complaints there as well. But why Ms. Sadaf has rightly pointed out that law is available, but we see so many human rights violations just because that you see if there are human rights violations in North Korea, then United Nations is putting economic sanctions on them. But if we see the same human rights violation in Gaza and Indian illegal occupied Kashmir, then there are no economic sanctions on Israel and India. Similarly, we see that once there is any problem in Ukraine, then United Nations is intervening in Ukraine. But once we see that there is same thing happening in Indian illegally occupied Kashmir, then there is no intervention. So these things are also there are certain standards.
Exactly. So thank you so much, sir, for kind of saying that as well. And, you know, obviously, I think United Nations, most of the time, their role is very advisory. You know, it's not that they actually can go and do something about it. And, you know, obviously, member countries need to come together.
Yes.
Very quickly move on to Sana Saab. So, Sana Saab, obviously, with all our audiences out there, what we have done is that we've established what the Tartil-e-Quran does. Alhamdulillah, you happen to be the Chief Executive Officer. You're reaching out to millions of Muslims all over the globe, alhamdulillah. But today, you know, that the topic that I would, or probably this is a point of discussion that we had the other day. Now imagine that I realized that my Qari Sahib, who actually comes to teach my daughter, you know, is actually making her recite the Quran, but she has zero understanding of what the Quran says, how it needs to be better, or religious stories, you know, Sahaba ki kahaniya, which will actually give us a true amalgamation of what our religion is. How do you think Tartil-e-Quran is actually helping millions of Muslims out there to learn more about, you know, their religion and
yes, actually, at Tartil-e-Quran, we go a step ahead from this just reading and helping students just recite the Quran. So what we do is we train our teachers to explain some specific verses which impart the social and moral values to our childs and to the students that learn with us. And specifically that those verses which have which explain that we should respect parents, we should practice the kindness, and also we should fulfill our responsibilities as a Muslim or as a good human beings. So it is not just reading the Quran, but also we explain the verses to the students that has impact on their daily lives. So they can, so that like they start practicing at that level at the small age, so that like they could be a good Muslim in their future.
That's really beautiful. At what age can we start doing this?
It depends on the child to child, but as our experience says, like a student of age of 4 and 5 can start.
This is the ideal age?
Yes. No, it's a good age to start.
Exactly. I think that's where you actually start to comprehend, you can analyze, you know, you know what you've been told as well, and I think it's beautiful. But sir, for you to come up with this idea, because unfortunately, you know, who we call Qari Sahib is something that I'm sorry that I have to say it, and I'm not saying it for everybody, but most of the time, probably shayad Qari Sahib ko bhi nahi pata ki wo kya padha rahe.
Yeah, actually, that's where we.
So how do you hire your teachers?
That's where we play a good role. Like we interview a teacher on the basis of their communication and their recitation. So their communication must be perfect. Their recitation must be according to the standards. And if they fall on those standards, then we train them. So there is a 15 days period where we train them. We bring them on our standards. We have set for teaching Quran and Islamic studies. And then after that, the third part is to we put a test. If they pass, then we hire them.
Okay, wonderful.
And after that, like we have a quality assurance team, which regularly listen to the recordings, the classes, and make sure that like every class is according to the standard we have set for our teaching methods. And then like we have a test for the students as well. We listen to their recitation and we see if their progress is proper as per our standards or not. We prioritize their age.
There's a standard operating procedure for Tartil-e-Quran, and I think it's beautiful. And it needs to be out there as well, that it is being run and governed like a school, you know, it's an education system, it's a discipline, and everybody needs to be a part of it. So thank you so much, first of all, for doing that, because I've met no other Pakistani who's actually done this, you know, for our education or for the education of our children. So alhamdulillah, big round of applause for Tartil-e-Quran for doing that. But sir, while we are at it, what are the prerequisites for any teacher to be hired by Tartil-e-Quran? You know, so if I am to look for Tartil-e-Quran service, that okay, my daughter should actually, you know, sign up for this service and they should be a teacher, maybe via Skype, via Zoom, all the audiences who are out there, you can actually get in touch with them. How do you make sure that, okay, this is a teacher that we want? Because most of the time you might not even get your hands on a great teacher.
Yeah. For this, the first condition is that he must be Hafiz. He must have memorized, he or she. We have male and female teachers, so they must have memorized the Quran by themselves. Because if someone has memorized the Quran, even he is not paying attention to the student, he can grasp the mistake by his unconscious mind, because he has memorized. So this is the very basic idea, it's basic condition. And there is another another way, like he and she must have a sanad from recognized wafaq or university. And then we also make sure that they have good communication, so that like they can communicate in English because our audiences they are all over the world. So this is these two things are main conditions for hiring a teacher.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much, sir, for saying that as well, and it's beautiful. How do our audiences who are out there in 46 different countries can get in touch with Tartil Quran? Is there a website?
Yeah, we have website www.tartilequran.com.
Can you please spell it for us as well?
Yes, it's TARTLEQURAN.com.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that if you've been struggling to find a good Qari Sahib, you know, a Qari Sahib who actually deserves to teach your children, so that your children would actually know about your religion, about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about Ahle Bayt, about Taqwa, about Fitra. Please make sure that you sign up at tartilequran.com. I think that's what it is. Exactly. Very quickly, sir, I think one last question which I have for you, Asif Sahib, and that is that when we do know that the human rights are not being upheld, what do you think any individual can do in that situation?
Actually, you know, Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam always focused that their ummati should be very well in education. Once you are having knowledge about your rights, about your duties, then you can see that what are the forums you can pursue. And you know, there is a little difference in the philosophy of Islamic human rights and the Western human rights. That Islam mostly focuses on duties, that you must know what is your duty and you perform your duty. So on the other hand, the secular human rights system is based on rights, and everyone is demanding about rights. This is my right. I always ask from you, this is my right, and you are not doing, you are not performing something which is violating my right. So there comes a little bit problem. So Islamic philosophy says that you must focus on duties. If every one of us sitting in this studio is performing its own duties, then we will see that everything will be very much smooth and stable.
Only if we are.
Yes, only if we are.
Exactly. So thank you so much. I think it's a very conclusive answer, and for everybody who's out there, you know, whatever opportunity you have to yourself, please make sure. And I say it quite often, you know, I think our responsibility as humans is to get up, dress up and show up. And if we can do that, ladies and gentlemen, you will see how successful certainly be your way of life, lifestyle as well. One last question from Dr. Rimsha. Dr. Rimsha, what I have observed is that most of the time, you know, other than even Ramazan, if you realize that it's not the problem of bad breath, but there might be something wrong with your esophagus, what do you think that we can do? Do you think that there is a quick fix if we are to rush for a meeting or anything, or we need to go in for a checkup?
Well, if it's for a quick fix, we have cardamom, we have those kind of things. We have sugar-free chewing gums. We can take those, xylitol and everything. We have those available. But I think if there is an underlying cause, if there is a gut problem, you really need to visit your general physician for detailed examination. There must be some underlying disease due to which you're having bad breath. And I also mentioned before that you can have saliva stimulant tablets if you're having extremely dry mouth. Usually in diabetic patients, they have extremely dry mouth, so they can go for that.
नहीं
मतलब इतना भी नहीं होता.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rimsha. Thank you so much, Sanaullah Sahab, for being with us. Thank you so much, Asif Bhai, for being with us. And you know, because we do not have children today, but Seerat International actually have given us a lot of giveaways for children. So inshallah, in days to come, we'll be giving away that. And then from Tartil Quran, we are giving away stories and chocolates and color pencils and books and all of those religious stories which, you know, children were actually going to love. But not just that, I think it's about time, because we do value your participation.
We're actually giving away vouchers. We are giving away all this gift hamper to people who are answering our questions as well. So let me tell you about the yesterday's question that we asked, and that was, what is the main topic discussed in the longest verse of the Quran, verse 282 of Surah Al-Baqarah? A. Stories of the prophets. B. Guidelines for financial transactions and debt, including loans. C. Descriptions of heaven and hell. And D. Rules for prayer and fasting. And the correct option was B. Guidelines for financial transactions and debt, including loans. And Miral Vakar has won this, and she will be getting a gift hamper from Tartil Quran.
Wow, that's wonderful as well.
But you can get a chance to answer today's question, and you can get a chance to win the voucher for today.
But ladies and gentlemen, today's question is on your television screens. Please make sure that you note it down. Ayatul Kursi is a verse from which chapter of the Quran? And your four options are Surah Yusuf, Surah Al-Kahf, Surah Al-Baqarah, or Surah Al-Rahman. So please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you could actually email to us on ramazanpakistan@ptv.com.pk. Thank you so much, Asa, for being with us. Thank you so much, Sanaullah, KIANI Saab. Thank you so much, Dr. Grimshaw, for being with us. Thank you so much, Sadaf, for being with us. Thank you so much, Isha, for being with us. But over here inside our studios, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Muhammad Ali Raza for another Naat. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow on Ramazan Pakistan at 4 p.m. Please make sure to tune in. And not just that, please make sure that you tune in at 10 a.m. as well, because World This Morning will be on air as well. Ali Raza Saab, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
करम आज बालाए बाम आ गया है, जुबां पर मोहम्मद का नाम आ गया है, करम आज बालाए। मज़ा तब है सरकार महशर में कह दे, मज़ा तब है सरकार महशर में कह दें, वो देखो हमारा गुलाम आ गया है, वो देखो हमारा गुलाम आ गया है, करम आज बालाए। मुझे मिल गई है दो आलम की शाही, मुझे मिल गई है दो आलम की शाही, मेरा उनके मंगतों में नाम आ गया है, मेरा उनके मंगतों में नाम आ गया है, करम आज बालाए। दुरूदों की बारिश है कोनो मकामे, दुरूदों की बारिश है कोनो मकां पर, के आजम बिया का इमाम आ गया है, के आजम बिया का इमाम आ गया